Right now, 2,900 kilometers under your feet, there is a ball of iron and nickel, roughly the size of the moon, glowing at about 5,400 degrees Celsius. That is the surface temperature of the sun. Now picture yourself in your kitchen at 7:14 in the morning, holding a coffee you have not sipped yet, when that ball hits absolute zero. Minus 273.15 Celsius. 0 Kelvin. The coldest temperature this universe legally allows, 3 seconds. Done. And you feel absolutely nothing. That is the first cruel part. Rock is a garbage conductor of heat, so the cold stays down there for centuries. You are standing on 3,000 kilometers of insulation, blowing on a latte, completely unaware that the engine which made your entire species possible just flatlined. You get about 4 minutes of blissful ignorance. Savor them. They are the last normal minutes in human history. Because here's the thing nobody tells you about that core. It is not just hot, it is spinning. Molten iron in the outer core churns in slow convective spirals, dragged sideways by Earth's rotation, and moving liquid metal generates electric current, and electric current generates a magnetic field, which drags the metal, which strengthens the field. It is a loop that has been feeding itself for over 3 billion years. Scientists call it the geodynamo. You should probably call it the only reason your skin works. Freeze it, and the loop does not slow down gracefully. It stops. Absolute zero means every atom in there has surrendered every last scrap of thermal motion. No convection, no current, no field. The invisible bubble that has been catching solar wind since before there were bones on this planet simply switches off, and it takes about 11 seconds for the atmosphere to notice. Here is where it gets personal. Every compass needle on Earth starts spinning. Not drifting, spinning like a roulette wheel. Ship compasses in the Pacific, the little dome on a hiker's backpack in the Alps, the magnetometer in your pocket. 11 seconds of frantic circling as the field tears itself apart into chaotic pockets. Then every needle on the planet stops, tilts, and points straight down toward a corpse. Somewhere on a boat off Reykjavik, a captain is tapping the glass like that is going to help. Meanwhile, in Iceland, a crowd of tourists is standing around Strukur, phones up, waiting. The geyser fires. A column of boiling water climbs 20 meters into the cold air, and then, mid-eruption, it just stops. The whole column hangs there for one full heartbeat, defying every instinct you have about how water behaves, before it slaps back down into the vent like something yanked it by the ankles. 40 people got it on video, and one guy in a rain jacket lowers his phone and asks, quietly, if that is supposed to happen. Nobody. It is not. Now, 4 minutes in, the actual apocalypse starts. And it starts with electricity. When a magnetic field collapses through a conductor, it dumps current into it. That is not exotic physics. It is how every generator you have ever used works, except this time, the collapsing field is planetary and the conductors are the continent-spanning copper and aluminum grids we spent 150 years lacing across the surface. Long transmission lines, undersea cables, pipelines, railway tracks. Every one of them takes a surge that no breaker on Earth was designed to survive. Transformers do not fail politely. Their cores saturate, the windings cook, the insulating oil flashes into vapor, and they detonate, and they do it in a very specific shade of blue-white that anyone who has seen a substation die will recognize immediately. Now imagine that from orbit. The night side of Earth lighting up in stuttering blue constellations. Warsaw, then Kiev, then Ankara, then a chain across India. Thousands of tiny stars blooming and dying along the power corridors. And then the darkness. Continent by continent, in under 90 seconds, the lights of human civilization go out and stay out. This is not a blackout. Those transformers are custom-built units that take 18 months to build, and we just lost nearly all of them at once, and the factories that make them also just lost power. You are standing in your kitchen and the fridge stops humming and you think, huh, weird. Look up, because that is when the sky starts doing something wrong. With the magnetic field gone, the solar wind is no longer being deflected around us. It is landing. Charged particles slam directly into the upper atmosphere, excite oxygen atoms at high altitude, and up there, excited oxygen glows deep, arterial red, so there are auroras everywhere. Blood red curtains writhing over the Sahara, over Mumbai, over Miami, where people are filming it from balconies and calling it the most beautiful thing they have ever seen, which, to be fair, it is. It is also killing them, because riding alongside that pretty light show is the part you cannot see. Solar protons and cosmic rays that the field used to sweep away are now pouring straight into the air column, and the air is thick enough to eat most of it for now, so you will not drop dead on your balcony. You will just accumulate. Everyone will. And in about 6 months, oncologists in every country that still has electricity will start comparing numbers and quietly agreeing not to publish. Oh, and it gets worse. Those same particles start smashing nitrogen and oxygen into nitrogen oxides, and nitrogen oxides eat ozone catalytically. One molecule chews through thousands. Within a couple of years, the ozone layer is not thinning, it is perforated, and sunburn stops being an inconvenience and becomes a 15-minute problem. Farming becomes something you do at night, but the loudest thing that happens on day one happens underneath you. Down in Tokyo, in a basement full of seismographs, the needles have been scratching out the usual background hum of a living planet, because Earth is never actually still. Then the whole planet's crust flexes at once. The mantle just lost its heat source, and hot rock that stops being heated contracts, and rock that contracts pulls away from the rock beside it. The crust groans, buckles, and cracks like a wine glass pulled out of an oven and dropped into ice water, and every fault line on Earth moves in the same afternoon. That is the last earthquake, not the biggest one that year, the last one ever. Because once that shudder passes, the seismographs in Tokyo flatline, and they stay flat the next day, and the next month, and the next 1,000 years. The planet's heart stopped beating, and those flat lines are the receipt, which means plate tectonics is over. No more subduction, no more spreading ridges, no more volcanoes. And volcanoes are how this planet burps carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. Rain and rock have been pulling carbon out of the air for billions of years, and volcanoes have been putting it back, and that thermostat is the only reason Earth has stayed habitable this long. Break the return line, and the atmosphere slowly starves. Plants first, then everything that eats plants, then you. So your timeline looks like this. Day 1, no power, no navigation, no satellites, because the survivors are unshielded and dying. Week 1, cities without water pumps become unlivable, and 11 billion people start walking. Year 1, the auroras are still beautiful and nobody looks up anymore. Decade 1, humanity is a few million people living in caves and old subway tunnels, because underground is the only place the radiation is not, farming mushrooms and telling their kids about a thing called the sky. And the wildest part, the planet keeps orbiting, same distance from the sun, same year, same oceans for a while. From a telescope 50 light years away, nothing changed at all. Earth just quietly stopped being alive on the inside, and everything on the outside took the hint. So here's my question for you. If you got one warning 4 minutes before every light on Earth went out for good, what is the one thing you would run for? Drop it in the comments, because I want to know how many of you say the phone. And if you want more scenarios that betters your day in 8 minutes or less, subscribe to Ifplained.